So Tom, any questions on that? I hear it. So, one other thing on this. So as you're starting to look back, so the basic position I feel like when we get in here is we're really thinking about, we're kind of like just in a closed guard. It's kind of like the closed guard idea again. So I'm trying to get this hip forward, and I'm trying to also get my head back. So if as I start to do this, so we'll just start to wrestle a bit there. As I start to do this, I'm thinking about taking that head back so I can get my arm between his legs. Now I've got the insurance policy for it's going to be pretty hard for him. And I don't like hanging out here because there's a little bit of a kind of triangle threat. But once I've got to here, I can start using this and start working the hand whilst blocking that leg, start working the hand in. So by looking back, Pete does this a lot actually, but he does this a lot where he'll get to this sort of position and he turns back in. And it's kind of the same thing. So it puts the hips back by turning back in. So as I'm reaching back with this, as I'm pushing my hip in, I'm actually beginning to get my arm into position to do this, to come here. Yeah? So it's almost looks like some kind of theatrical ballet thing, where you're following the arm back round to put it between the legs, because once you've got the arm between the legs, then it's very hard for him to square up properly to you. Yeah? And then you're not, like, I wouldn't hang out in this, because the danger is, if you keep this in here, people can sometimes like start gripping this hip. But if Benedict pushes my head between his legs, yeah, and starts squeezing now, right, this can be a submission. So you don't want to be addicted to this. I'm not going to get like here and then be like here. I want to get there, and then once I've got there and I know he can't move, I'm looking to get this in here. Because I just don't want him pushing my head between his legs with my arms in there. If he tries to do it here, no problem. It's not, and even if it does end up in there, it's not as bad as just a head. But if you get stuck in there with your arm, it can be pretty bad when you were dominating somebody. And they just use a kind of cheap triangle. Yeah? So does that make sense on there? It's like you're looking back to swing that arm in between the legs. And then you work to the knee. Yeah?
Are you looking for that when you started to get a flat as opposed to the right?
I think like, I'm trying to really kind of almost like write down all the stuff that you need to do from here. So when I get here, the common mistake, and it exposes things as you go up the levels, it's fine at the lower belt levels, because most of the time people don't realise, or they do this instinctively, but then that means they do it randomly. Because like occasionally instinct means that they, as you let go and you do this or whatever, or even you've got the underhook, sometimes they get away with it because they've not written it down. It's not a certainty for them. But sometimes it just feels for them like, yeah, that's fine. They just react and they get the guard and they don't know why. And so it's not repeatable. They might do it 50% of the time, 30% of the time, 60%, whatever. But it's not hard. We've not made it like an explicit rule. So really, what I'm trying to do with all this is to think about, what is really going on here, and what I really feel like this is actually just what we've been doing with the closed guard. Because if I throw my head back, he's trying to pull me in, right? Pull me in, breathe in. Yeah, he's trying to pull me in with that knee. And so the more that I keep looking back, it turns me to where I need to be. Just like we've been doing the closed guard, top, bottom. So I'm throwing it back, looking, and that's going to allow that arm to do like almost like a windmill to get between his legs. So now he can't turn it anymore. I've got some pressure on that hip going. You've got some pressure on that hip going that way, in a way that's efficient. I'm not trying to move this way and keep that down. I'm keeping that down first by going backwards. So when Benedict leans back on me, good, so see how my hip is up. But when he starts to lean his weight back, or lean your weight right back, this hip, I can't hold that up. This hip's dropping. This hip's dropping. And so now it's going to start to be a race where you know, I'm going to try and bring myself up, but he just needs to keep looking back and just working his arm in between my legs. So do a windmill. Do a windmill. Yeah, that will do. Now it's done. Now the position is killed. So much more efficient. Yeah. Let's get your body, let's give it a go again.